Free Aceh.
Merdeka.
Free Aceh. Free Aceh.
Merdeka. Merdeka.
Betul.
Merdeka.
Aceh.
Merdeka.
Aceh.
Merdeka.
Aceh.
Merdeka.
InsyaAllah.
Merdeka.
Front, I would like to express our appreciation for your presence here today, as well as to our friends in DC who have organized and facilitated this General Assembly. Today, we are grateful for this opportunity to present our case on the violations of human rights and fundamental freedoms in Aceh, namely in reference to its present situation in light of its previous history as a sovereign independent state. Today is a historic day for the UNPO in convening this meeting in the United States. It is also historic for the people of Aceh, Sumatra, as on this day, 149 years ago, on March 26, 1873, Netherlands officially declared war on Aceh's sovereign state. That war lasted almost a century, thus becoming one of the bloodiest and longest colonial wars in human history. The aftermath of this invasion attracted powerful, widespread attention and became front-page news of contemporary newspapers all over the world, such as the London Times and the New York Times. Even President Ulysses S. Grant issued his famous proclamation of impartial neutrality in this war between Holland and Aceh. After the end of the war, on December 27, 1949, the Dutch transferred their entire colonial empire of the Dutch Indies to a new entity called Indonesia. This went against all of the United Nations rules and principles of decolonization, which states, sovereignty over colonial territory is not transferable by the colonialist power to other colonialist powers. This makes the case that Holland should have returned Aceh to the Achenese people to restore the status quo antebellum. On the basis of this illegal transfer of Aceh to Indonesia, the Aceh Sumatra National Liberation Front was then established in 1976, and the redeclaration of an independent Aceh was issued on the 4th of December in the same year. From the Dutch invasion of Aceh in March 1873 up to today, the Achenese people have never been at peace. An estimation of 100,000 Achenese were killed during this bloody colonial war alone. And for the 3 decades since 1976, Aceh once again has become a killing field for the Indonesian armed forces. Between 1989 to 1998, Aceh was then declared as a military operational area and ruled by the Reign of Terror. The atrocities perpetrated through these years have no equal in Aceh's history of fighting against any other colonial powers in the past. Arbitrary arrests, extrajudicial killings, routine torture, and disappearances of thousands of civilians have become commonplace. An estimate of over 30,000 innocent Achenese lost their lives in military custody, in hidden mass graves, or in secret concentration camps. These military operations continued unabated with the same intensity and brutality, and martial law was then imposed between May 2003 and May 2004. Thus, another reign of terror was again in progress until Aceh was devastated by the Indian Ocean deadly tsunami on the Boxing Day of 2004. This natural disaster, coupled with a prolonged war, had brought the warring parties, the Republic of Indonesia, and the Free Aceh movement to sign a peace deal known as the Memorandum of Understanding in Helsinki, Finland. One of the many provisions in the MOU is the establishment of 2 human rights institutions, Human Rights Court and Trust and Reconciliation Commission. But despite this deal, political and human rights solutions remain unresolved. The Regional House of Representatives enacted a bylaw with regard to TRC on December 31st, 2013, but Human Rights Watch stated that the violations in Aceh were too serious to be addressed only by the Truth Commission, which cannot impose criminal penalties. States have an obligation under international law to prosecute serious abuses of human rights and war crimes. As the territory was unlawfully occupied by the Netherlands and then handed over to Indonesia without due process of the United Nations principles on decolonization, Aceh should have been restored as an independent state again. The UNESCO document 23, 1990, paragraph 40, affirmed as follows: "It is widely accepted that a group
Allahu Akbar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Aceh.
Merdeka!
Aceh.
Merdeka!
Aceh.
Merdeka!
Alhamdulillah insyaAllah.
Sin! Bakuyun, baik bakuyun. Bakuyun. Apel sin! Sekarang 60 Mak, dengar le. Jangan kan.
Cok betul. Aduh.
Supaya itu pulih bangsa Papua, bangsa Maluku dan bangsa-bangsa lain. Kami atas nama Aceh Sumatera National Liberation Front dan Aceh Sumatera Kultur di Denmark, kami berdiri 3 bendera yang membuktikan atas kerjasama kami untuk memerdekakan negeri kami, yaitu Maluku, Aceh dan Papua. Kami mempunyai hak untuk merdeka di tanah kami sendiri, yaitu Aceh, Papua dan Maluku. Dan hal itu tidak melanggar dengan hukum PBB, hukum bangsa-bangsa, dan begitu juga dengan hukum Indonesia. Karena tertulis dalam Undang-Undang 45, di pembukaan Undang-Undang tertulis, yaitu kemerdekaan itu ialah hak segala bangsa. Dan penjajahan di atas dunia harus dihapuskan karena tidak sesuai dengan peri kemanusiaan dan peri keadilan. Free Aceh!
Free Aceh.
Free Aceh!
Free Aceh.
Free Aceh!
Free Aceh.
Free Maluku!
Free Maluku.
Free Maluku!
Free Maluku.
Free Maluku!
Free Maluku.
Free Papua!